What's going on? Thanks for joining me today. I want to go over the 10 things off the top of my head that bother me about this car. This is the 22 GT. I've had it for a couple of years now. It's a car that I absolutely love. So this is a video that I'm making only because I love the car and I want to see it improved in the future. Now, I can make a video like this about any car. So again, don't take it as a negative. But these are the 10 things that I thought that should have been better from the get-go, or that moving forward Subaru should probably try to improve. So let me know if you have this car in the comment section, what you think about this video, what you think about the things that I chose, and let me know if you have your own gripes about the car that you want to share with other people. There's some links in the video description as well, so be sure to check out the video description. So without further ado, let's get to it. Number one, the blinker. There's no other way to put it other than to say that I hate the turn signal lever in this car. You see, it doesn't have that natural click that locks it into position when you push it up or down to make a turn like most cars do. Instead, it acts like a soft button. You push it all the way down to make a left turn, make the turn, and it cancels out normally. If you don't turn sharply enough to activate the auto off, you have to push it lightly in the opposite direction to cancel it. That's all normal, except that usually you have that distinctive click and locking of the lever to give you confirmation, and that is now gone. So if you hastily change your mind about a turn and hit the lever too hard, you will activate the opposite turn signal. It could get very annoying until you're used to it. Some might not have an issue with this, but I think it's unnecessary. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Number two, soft and integrated climate controls. One feature that is almost universally hated is the relegation of climate control buttons to the screen of the infotainment system. If you want to have full control of your climate settings, you have to take your eyes off the road and look at the screen, because that's where the buttons are now. This is in no way an improvement. Nobody likes this, and I don't understand why anyone would sign off on it. Want to have a menu full of vehicle settings be accessible only through the screen? That's fine, but please give common necessary functions like climate control their own physical buttons. Number three, an unchangeable infotainment system. If you wanted to easily add your own superior sound system to this car, or outright replace the infotainment system with a vastly superior head unit, you are out of luck. As of right now, we are essentially stuck with the infotainment in this car. Very important functions like climate control, vehicle settings, and drive mode customization can only be accessed through the infotainment system. This means that you essentially cannot replace the head unit, or you will lose important functionality. To be fair, this is becoming the norm with all modern vehicles, but this sucks nonetheless. There is still hope that companies like iDataLink can reverse engineer these functions into their head unit replacement interfaces, but until they do, we can only augment by adding amps and subs using noisy and weak high-level signals from the head unit or amps, and adding components like the epicenter or LC7i line-out converter to deal with roll-off bass or split signals. Number four, protruding bumper. To change gears a bit, the rear bumper in this car is oddly designed and protrudes a bit much. It kind of looks like it was clipped into place and wasn't pushed in all the way. I also think it's a bit busy, almost as if it's already been modified aftermarket. I've gotten used to it by now, and like I've said before, in person it does look better, but I think the design could have been more objectively attractive, if that's a thing. Number five, plastic cladding. Another point of contention from the get-go has been the black plastic cladding around the wheel wells. To each their own. If you like it, great, but for me, I'd much rather not have it. I think it looks cheap and gimmicky and just should be left to trucks and SUVs. Now, I get it that there are practical applications for this in snowy areas, and some may even welcome this feature, but for me, it cheapens the look of the car, and I'd much rather not have it there at all. Number six, you cannot set a default drive mode. The SPT version of this car comes with over 400 ways to customize the driving experience, from the sensitivity of the steering wheel, the throttle response, and even the volume of the climate control. So it's ironic that with such customization options, you cannot set a default start mode. Now, you are able to set a custom mode tailored to your liking, and that mode will always be quickly accessible via this button on the steering wheel, but the car will always start in sports mode. This is not a huge deal, but it seems like such a trivial option that could have easily been included, or hopefully will be added in a future update. Number seven, no power increase from the previous generation. Now, this is the single biggest disappointment with this new generation of the car, that the stock 271 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque that the car offers is only a whopping 3 horsepower over the previous generation. The car is absolutely capable of making more reliable power, but Subaru likely stopped at these numbers to reduce warranty claims. Now, numbers like this don't tell the full story. The torque curve in this car is broader, so the car feels more powerful and capable than the previous generation. In its stock form, the car is fun to drive, and it's especially enjoyable if you put it in manual mode and keep the car in the torquey portion of the RPM range. I think stock the car is plenty powerful, safe, and fun, but it would have been nice to see some higher numbers to really push this to the next level. Number 8, no spare tire. If you didn't know, WRXs sold in the United States do not come with a spare tire. They instead have this tire repair kit right here. Now, this is fine for run-of-the-mill blowouts, but there may be times when the tire is damaged beyond repair. And in those instances, you will be out of luck and really wishing you had a spare tire. There are solutions to this. If you wish, you can purchase a spare or rig your own setup, but yeah, this should have been at least an option at the time of purchase, as I don't believe the weight and price reduction is significant enough to justify omitting it. Number 9, no wireless Android Auto or CarPlay. For 2022 and 2023 WRX owners, wireless Android Auto and CarPlay are not available. For all other needless apps that come with the infotainment system, you would have thought that much more useful features like wireless Android Auto and CarPlay would have been added. Now, due to car production and manufacturing cycles, infotainment systems are usually years behind current technology, and that is certainly the case here. There are adapters that you can get to add this wireless feature, and I do believe 2024 Plus will already have it built in, but yeah, this has been around for years and should have absolutely been included at launch. Number 10, no 360-degree camera. And speaking of things the car should have had, a 360 camera would have been amazing. Driving other vehicles like my wife's Suburban here has got me really used to using the 360 camera. It helps with parking, maneuvering tight spots, and checking surroundings for kids or obstacles. 360 cameras stitch together the image from multiple cameras into a 360 composite image. This has been around for a long time now, and a vehicle like this GT that is not a luxury vehicle but costs over $40,000, this should have been at a minimum an option or part of a trim. Number 11, no performance brakes. The brakes in this car are certainly adequate for a grocery getter, but if you start adding power or just driving the car very aggressively, you'll find that the brakes are just not adequate. Now, there are a couple versions of this car now, the 2024 TR or tuner ready, and the recently announced TS, which is scheduled for 2025, that offer the substantially better Brembos like the STI used to have. But those definitely come at a price. But for the 22s and 23s, the stock brakes need to be upgraded aftermarket, especially if you start adding power mods to the car. Alright, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Take care.